Don in London, hello. It's April the 30th, 2009, last day of the month. My video is all about recovery from either addiction to substance or behaviour, or addiction to both substance and behaviour. My substance in the past was alcohol, and my behaviour, workaholic, relationshipaholic, any oldolic, and the ism of trying to be perfect, and never so. I set high standards for myself, and I don't know that I ever met them, because I was never perfect. So what's the gift of learning how to recover from addiction? I guess simply to be able to live one day at a time and know that we make progress and we never are perfect. If we were perfect, there would be no point in being here, I suspect. I don't know that for sure, nobody does, but I do believe these days that life is for learning and life is for being happy as life affords. So sometimes we can be happy and sometimes we can be sad, and somewhere in between most of the time, not at the extremes of feeling. And what I've learned most about recovery from addiction is our best thinking can make it happen, addiction that is. So my thinking kept me drinking, and my feeling keeps me clean of alcohol and those behaviours which push me to extremes of behaviour. How did that happen? Well, simply I needed a lot of help to actually find recovery in the first place. And I can remember being shoved through the doors of an AA meeting back in I don't know when. And it took me 5 years to get to the next meeting. It was such a shock to the system, that there were people out there who did not drink and did not need to, just one day at a time. I won't go into the details of how all that happened. It would take too long. It would take a lifetime to explain. But what I know these days, I have a mainstay which helps me keep sober, and that's the fellowship with Alcoholics Anonymous. So Alcoholics Anonymous, I don't speak for it. I go there or go to meetings and be a part of and included, so I may find, I guess, some serenity on a daily basis. And serenity doesn't mean it's all good. Serenity means acceptance of life as it is, life on life's terms. And for anybody trying to get in touch with their spiritual side, I have a belief that spiritual is seeing and experiencing reality without filters and without denials. So the less denials and filters I have, the better spiritual condition I might be in. And it's only for a day. And in that day, things can go spectacularly good or spectacularly wrong. Well, maybe not wrong, but just life experiences which causes pain. So the fellowship of AA is my mainstay or it's my main plank. It's not walking the plank and then ending up back in the drink. It's actually the mainstay of my sobriety. And at every meeting I go to, which is most days, there is a preamble which really says what the fellowship can do and what it can't do, and how it keeps itself motivated for one purpose only, to be sober. And the preamble goes like this: Alcoholics Anonymous is a fellowship of men and women who share their experience, strength and hope with each other, that they may solve their common problem and help others to recover from alcoholism. The only requirement for membership is a desire to stop drinking. There are no dues or fees for AA membership. We are self-supporting through our own contributions. AA is not allied with any sect, denomination, politics, organisation or institution. It does not wish to engage in any controversy, neither endorses nor opposes any causes. Our primary purpose is to stay sober and help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety. And I went to a meeting last night, one of my locals, which is supposed to be at 7:30 in St Luke's Parish Hall. And when I got there early, fortunately, and as I looked through the open doors, there were tables laid out with wine on them. And the very last thing one expects to see at an AA meeting is tablefuls of bottles of wine. And of course the hall had been hired out to somebody else, and our meeting had been put into another place about a quarter of a mile away, with a start time of 8. And it made me smile, because an alcoholic in their first days of recovery turning up to an AA meeting to find it's now a wine tasting party. Well, what can you say? I don't know what the church was thinking of, but they weren't thinking about people in AA, maybe, or maybe with, who knows. The gift is, we did have a meeting in a different venue, and it's good because we get to experience strength and hope on a daily basis. And most people laughed when they went to the first venue, only to find it was full of wine, and then made their ways hastily for a cup of tea at the new venue. And it was a good chair, and I stayed and listened. But my blood sugars, I'm type 1 diabetic, one of the gifts of recovery. I was alive long enough to get it, and the other one is, of course, clinical depression. I was alive long enough to find out that I had it, and I've had it a long time, probably since I was born. So we get to know exactly more about us and what makes us tick. So I've had professional medical help to sort out one or two things. And then AA keeps me ticking along fairly nicely so that I can be a part of family, community and society. And that's really what the gift is, just to be a part of, to be included, not bigger or smaller than anybody else, on a spiritual path that is seeing reality as it is today. And there are 12 steps in the action program for people in recovery. 12 action steps are all about attitude and behavioural change, changing to the good of our good nature. And there are 12 traditions which hold the fellowship together, but more on traditions maybe at another time. So these 12 steps, so one a month in the literature of AA, which I share here. And I use daily reflections, so we're on the last day of the month on that, and I also use As Bill Sees It, and I'm just doing those linearly, so no particular connection to step 4, which is April for me. Step 4 is about the fearless moral inventory, where we do a self-appraisal of our assets, liabilities, where our anger and resentments have been, and what we may do about them, and how to get, well, it's more like making a clean slate and understanding what we need to do to keep well. So, daily reflections for today. It says here, April 30th, the great paradox. 3 legacies of suffering and of recovery are easily passed among alcoholics one to another. This is our gift from God, or good conscience, and its bestowal upon others like us is the one aim, and that one aim that today animates AAs all around the globe. And that paradox, I just need to take a swig of coffee. My blood sugars are giving me nightmares at the moment. Either they're up or they're down. The great paradox of AA is that I know I cannot keep the precious gift of sobriety unless I give it away, which is what I do here. My primary purpose is to stay sober. In AA, I have no other goal, and the importance of this is a matter of life and death to me. If I veer from this purpose, I lose, but AA is not only for me, it is for the alcoholic who still suffers. The legions of recovering alcoholics stay sober by sharing with fellow alcoholics. The way to my recovery is to show others in AA that when I share with them, we both grow in the grace of the higher power, and both of us are on the road to a happy destiny. And the gift of the happy destiny is we get everything. Like normal people, we are normal people, we just have an extra bit to work with on a daily basis in our sobriety. And if we do that, then we actually stay in a modest state of recovery. You know, it won't be rip-roaring, or it might be, it just depends on how life experience turns out. And it could be very sad as well, because people die around us far too often because of alcoholism. Page 90, As Bill Sees It. To watch loneliness vanish. Almost without exception, alcoholics are tortured by loneliness. Even before our drinking got bad and people began to cut us off, nearly all of us suffered the feeling that we didn't quite belong. Either we were shy and dared not draw near others, or we were too noisy good fellows, constantly craving attention and companionship, but rarely getting it. There was always that mysterious barrier we could neither surmount nor understand. That's one reason we loved alcohol too well, but even when Bacchus betrayed us, we were finally struck down and left in a terrified isolation. Life takes on new meaning in AA, to watch people recover, to see them help others, to watch loneliness vanish, to see a fellowship grow up about you. We have to have a host of friends. This is an experience not to be missed. And, you know, the gift for me is, I was frightened and alone for a long time, and I didn't know what it was. And alcohol served me well for far too long before I realised it was isolating me and killing me. So when I say the Serenity prayer to either God or good conscience, as you understand it, God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. It is just for one day, and it's this day.